We welcome you on this Tuesday, April 2nd, 2019 for HETV Game of the Week as we come to you from Hoffman Estates High School, the home of the Hawks, as it's our first boys volleyball action of the season as the Hawks of Hoffman Estates welcome in the Barrington Broncos. Hello again, everybody. I'm Ryan Fahey with you for HETV. I'll be joined by Bruce Anderson in just a moment. Both these teams coming off of very opposite 2018 campaigns in which we start with the visiting Barrington Broncos, who are coming off of a super sectional run in which they lost to Glenbard West off of a record of 34-6. Meanwhile, for the Hoffman Estates Hawks, quite the opposite portion of a season for them in 2018. 2-28 on their regular season last year. They did not have a win in conference play last year, but however, for 2019 for Hoffman Estates, they already have matched the amount of wins from last year to now in just limited action. They come in with a record of 2-5, while the visiting Broncos have a record of 5-4. We'll get you set for our national anthem and our starting lineups, along with our first serve, coming up next on our HETV Game of the Week.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the
Now let's introduce you to the Broncos of Barrington. First, the non-starters, a senior, number 2, Matt Saronsky. A sophomore, number 3, James Rowley. A junior, number 4, Ben Anan. A sophomore, number 5, Luke Hartke. A junior, number 9, Clark Parker. A junior, number 10, Tommy Morosik. A senior, number 12, Gabe Hartke. Junior number 15, Luke Blaschuk. Junior number 15, Filbert Lee. A junior number 16, John Davey. A junior number 18, Matt Harkey. A junior number 19, Sam Cook. The starters for tonight's game are number 1, a senior, Kyle Vasquez. Senior number 6, Chris Gavich. Junior number 7, Ben Ridgway. Junior number 8, Cole Bauer. Junior number 11, Ricky Dixon. Senior number 14, Luke Holder. And sophomore number 17, Mark Lyon. The Broncos are coached by Rob Rednar. And now for your Hoffman Estates Hawks. First, the non-starters, number 4, senior, Max Schmidt. Number 5, senior, Jeremy Besterman. Number 7, senior, Darshan Patel. Number 21, junior, Vainik Soni. Number 24, senior, Luke Schmidt. Number 50, senior, Marek Rozhodowski. And number 54, senior, Tyler Kelly. Your starters for tonight's game are number 1, junior, Will Lawson. Number 2, senior, Chris Vermate. Number 3, junior, Anthony Vermate. Number 11, junior, Simon Georgiev. Number 23, junior, Anuj Patel. Number 29, junior, sophomore, Jason Werfel.
So as both teams now will meet at center court, we'll get you set for MSL West volleyball action here. Alongside Bruce Anderson, Ryan Fahey with you. And Bruce, we're even starting a little later because of the sophomores and JV guys that's going the distance of 3 sets earlier.
Yeah, it was a good-looking match. The Hoffman Estates JV giving Barrington a run for their money, just not able to keep up.
And quite a long rallies in that third set for the JV guys as well, in which the Barrington Broncos took it in 3 sets, winning the first, losing the second, and then gaining back in the third. You'll see the Broncos here beginning set 1 left to right in the road black uniforms with the red numbers and letters. And their libero in number 1 and Kyle Vasquez is in the white jersey. And for the Hoffman Estates Hawks in their home, orange jerseys, blue shorts, blue numbers on the jerseys as well. And their libero and Chris Vermain is in the white jersey, blue shorts, and blue numbers. Best of 3 sets here in IHSA volleyball. You play each set up to 25 points. You got to win each set by 2 points or more. If we get to a 24-24 draw, we will play until somebody has the 2-point edge. Jason Werfel will get things started off here to serve for Hoffman Estates, right to left, the junior setter for the Hawks. 2-5 start to their season. Remember, they were only 2-28 last year, so improvements already for this Hawks squad. While for Barrington, in which they made it to the Supers, as we mentioned in our open, looking to build on that and then some. Although they've played some very highly competitive teams and some star-driven tournaments early on in 2019 as we get our match underway. As a center court setup kept up and to the back corner, it's kept up off the chicken wing dive. Look out to the water sanctions, and it actually lands up on the second deck. And an interesting start, nevertheless, and the Hawks get the first point, 1-0.
Looking a little bit like pinball at first point.
Watch out to the water cooler section in the far corner of the court on Barrington's bench, as Werfel has to serve yet again with his team up early, 1-0 here in set 1. He'll play that one to Vasquez as this set pass to the left side, and knocking that one down for the kill was Ricky Gibson, the 6'2" outside hitter. As now it'll be Vasquez to serve the 5'10" senior. He'll go left to right with the serve. Center court pass now stays right there. As that attack attempt there was from Simon Georgiev, number 11. As it comes to the near approach and getting the kill is David Butler, the sophomore, to break this 1-1 tie to make it 2-1 Hawks.
So Hoffman Estates looking good to start the set here.
Anuju Patel now will serve, number 23, running serve. As the Broncos play in front of the 10-foot line off the ISO block, Hawks will keep in play. Set pass right side, and that's going to work for David Butler again. So a nice start here for Hoffman early on. This will be the first of 2 matchups that these 2 squads will see each other in MSL play. They'll be at Barrington on April 23rd. As off the serve, it's punched up from the far corner, down to the near side, blocked back, and that block will work. Anthony Vermain, the brother of Chris. And a nice start for the Hawks here, Bruce, 4-1 in set 1.
Hawks looking very impressive to start off.
A lot of energy on their side, to say the least.
A lot of new players this year.
Yeah, quite the turnover as that serve goes far and out. Broncos get the point off the error. And that'll bring up Luke Colder, number 14, to serve. Colder, the 6'3" middle hitting senior. His first time serving here this evening. And that is just over the back line and out. So back-to-back service errors. 5-2 Hoffman Estates, and we'll have a sub now for Barrington as Matt Sarnowski will check into the contest.
In the game for the Broncos.
That'll put Chris Vermain back to serve. The senior wearing the libero jersey today. As this plays up towards the back line and play there for Sarnowski. Staying on that right side and getting it over the double block was Ricky Gibson. Set pass right side, stays off the double block of the Broncos. They'll play to their left. ISO blocked by Hoffman Estates as it's a back and forth battle at the net, and not able to get it forward in time was Patel. kind of ran more east-west than north-south to get it. 5-3, Hoffman Estate's lead is trimmed to 2, and a Ricky Gibson serve forthcoming.
A lot of hustle on both sides of the net so far.
Gibson's serve is short, make it 6-3 Hoffman. Mentioned Hoffman, winless in conference play last year. They were 0-10.
These young guys looking good together.
David Butler's serve is long, so it seems service here is starting to rack up a little bit in that department. As now a sub comes in for the Broncos as Clark Parker, the 6-foot junior, will check in as the deficit's down to 2 at 6-4, and also in for Hoffman Estates is Max Schmidt. Now that we have all the subs clarified at the scorer's table, we can get play back underway. Cross net pass near side, and it's off the netting out of play. As that went around the near antenna and out. So point for Barrington. They have a chance to tie now, down 6-5. Serve now will go to the front of the net off the reception there, and a double block from Barrington's end as Ved Anad and Mark Lyon deliver, and we're tied at 6.
A very definitive reject there.
So the block assists will go in their individual stat lines as the Hawks will look to counter, and they can't there as the attack attempt from Max Schmidt falls right back over him. And for the first time in this set, the Broncos have the lead at 7-6.
Broncos off to a slow start, but they seem to be getting it together.
Off the fingertips there of Anthony Fermain, it went to his brother Chris to settle down off the serve reception. And a powerful kill with the left hand. Ben Ridgway, the 6'2 junior, and it's now a 2-point lead for the Broncos at 8-6. Coach Rob Ridenour in his 14th season. Got to be liking his team's resiliency here early on. Dan Hutton, excuse me, the head coach of the Hawks. Our official having clarification down at his end, hence the delay, but now we're good to go. Off that serve, it plays to the front of the net right side for Hoffman, but another block. That's Anad again, and it's 9-6 Barrington. And a timeout to Hoffman Estates. They had a nice lead, and now it's been all Barrington ever since the first opening 4 or 5 points of this. And Bruce, it's really just been Barrington's defense that has helped lead the way, so to speak, at the block department.
It is. They've just been getting block after block right there at the net, rejecting it, sending it back.
Both these teams coming off of respective tournament plays during the end of March before spring break had occurred. Barrington was part of the hybrid of hosting along with Vernon Hills High School in the volleyball tournament they had towards the end of March. They finished fourth, excuse me, in a field that included defending state champions in the recent years of Sandburg and Naperville North. They had lost to Loyola in 2 different tournaments so far this season, along with Brother Rice and St. Rita in that same mix. And for Hoffman Estates, they are having their own tournament be hosted here back on the weekend of March 23rd. They had got 1 win in that. They defeated Rockford Auburn with losses to Bartlett and Mundelein in that 2-day festivities. As we come in now off the Hoffman timeout. That's going to be a timeout that proves worthy for Coach Dan Hutton. And a much needed point for Hoffman Estates to get them within 2, 9-7.
Do I remember that Barrington has a couple possible Olympians on their team?
You would be correct in that statement. We'll get to that in just a moment. As on the serve here for the Hawks, that's Anthony Fermat. As at the 10-foot line, played up for Patel to the right, and then a block again. It's Anad continuing his defense at the net. So a point for the Broncos, and just to go on to your point there, you've got a couple of all-area selections for the Broncos as this play will be center court, but a nicely executed kill from Will Larson. You've got Luke Hartke and Kyle Vasquez, who are returning all area selections. Hartke is part of the USAV A1 squad, and another player for the Broncos in Ben Ridgway, who was part of the USAV Continental teams for the development programs for USA Volleyball. As that one goes out long to get Hoffman Estates within one. So plenty of talent that was returning, Bruce, off of the super sectional team from a year ago.
Yeah, that's a tough team from top to bottom.
34-6 last year, MSL champs, regional champs out of Lake Zurich's regional last year, the Grant sectional champs, then losing in the super sectional to Glenbard West, who eventually Glenbard West took third in state. There's a sub now for the Broncos as Chris Babbage will check in and serve. Babbage, the 5'9" outside hitting senior. His team up by one at, or I should say two, excuse me, at 11-9. Powerful jump serve is just over the back line and out. And now Hoffman Estates is in double digits as back and forth we continue on, with David Butler set to come on in for the Hawks. That'll give Darshan Patel a seat. And in addition to another sub, Jason Werfel will come on in as well. Max Schmidt will head to the bench.
Yeah, the Hawks hanging tough here. Back and forth.
Broncos near right side. Luke Calder with the kill. The thing with, you mentioned, Bruce, talk about the USA Volleyball prep players for Barrington. You gotta remember too, Ben Ridgway's only a junior.
Oh, wow. So he's gonna be there for another year.
So yeah, you got that to his advantage as he started as a sophomore last year. And of course, Kyle Vasquez, a senior, Gabe Harkey as well, along with Ricky Gibson. So there's a bit of that senior leadership with this team, but of course, there is that good number of young players on this varsity squad that does get their time in, as that'll be a double hit call on Hoffman Estates. It'll be a point for the Broncos.
So 2-point lead, 13-11 for Barrington.
And trying to extend that lead here is Luke Calder.
The Hawks able to keep battling back.
As they go to the right, and I don't know if that was a fake out or a miscommunication, but it nevertheless worked for Hoffman Estates. But then right there to counter it is Ricky Gibson, the 6'2" senior. Just mentioning him, he gets the kill, and it's a 3-point lead for the Broncos at 14-11. Calder with the serve to the right side of Hoffman. Christopher Mank with the bump set over, and that attack is out and long over towards the corner of the Hawks bench. So just when you think that Barrington's going to try to pull away, Hoffman's able to counter back with whether it's an unforced error or an attack of their own. As Christopher Maint to serve down by 2 at 14-12 in favor of Barrington. And that serve is going to be short, so he gives the point right back. 15-12 Barrington. That Anad will come on in, the 6'3" junior, who we mentioned his blocking skills here in this first set have been really key to getting Barrington when early on it was a Hoffman Estates Hawks lead, and it's not going to count though. Despite it hitting off the basketball hoop sanctions towards the ceiling, it cannot go over the net off of that, so that's not going to work. 16-12.
Why not?
Hawks now to the near perch over the double block on the hit over was Anthony for a main. Left side for a nod, and that hit is long. Barrington was looking for a deflection. They're not going to get the call. It'll be 16-13. There's times that you get, when you get to any schools, Bruce, and you know, every gym obviously looks different. There's a different feel to it and how things are put up into the sanctions and up towards the ceiling. And there's been some times where you'll notice the ball gets up high into play. I remember a time, I think it was last season, where I was covering a match that it got up into the basketball hoop, similar to what we see here at Hoffman Estates, and it went through the netting, so you can kind of call it the aforementioned long distance three, and it actually stuck up on the back of the rim, and they had to get a new ball back into play. And just when you thought, okay, we're not worried about that ball, somehow I think it was during the next play or two, the ball managed to, with some kind of momentum, it actually came back in the middle of play as action was going on.
I'll bet that was fun.
Not for the team on the left side. I can't remember which team it was that was on the left court. It was in one of the state playoffs actually last year. I think in regional round, if I recall correctly. But nevertheless, as this one's going to fall, pancake attempt's not going to work, and a point for the Hawks to get them within 4, 18-14.
Nice dink there, just over the outstretched hands of Barrington. Maybe figuring the hard hit ones are coming back just as hard, so maybe put up a soft one.
Anthony from Maine on the jump serve. Went to Vasquez there. Played up, but it actually goes over to Hoffman's side, and they'll settle it down. Set pass to the right, and we get a whistle and a net violation. Are they going to call 4 hits? They call 4 hits. It's going to be a point for the Hawks. It may have been also a net violation on Barrington because Hoffman didn't have the 4 hits there, so it may have been just a miscue on the hand signals by the judges, but nevertheless, another point for Hoffman to get them within 2 now. Or they whistle that in favor of Barrington, excuse me, so it's a 4-point lead for Barrington, I'll correct myself. So the Broncos now, mentioned him earlier, Ben Ridgway, out of the USAV Continental Prep Squad. As they do their USA work in the off-season during the summertime. As that point will go in favor of the Broncos to now go up 5 at 20-15. You gotta imagine soon here if the point or two gets out of hand, Hoffman will probably need to call their second timeout. As this one will go to Chris from Maine, then right back over to Patel. As a setup there at the back line, kept up on the dig. And a bump set over. Broncos try to counter, and they do. Mark Lyon, the 6'2 sophomore, 21-15. Timeout Hoffman Estates. So when we've seen Hoffman linger around in the middle stages of set 2,
Barrington starting to pull away here.
So 21-15 our score. Bruce, what do you want to see from Hoffman to try to get back in this down by 6 here?
Well, they're getting a lot of dump backs. They're not getting good good hits. They're just trying to keep it in play instead of going for the points. They got to go for some of the points.
21-15 our score as we come in off the Hawks timeout. They've used both of their timeouts so far here in this set. They won't have any more. Barrington has still all 2 of theirs.
The problems with the Hawks spikes is they're coming right back at them sometimes as fast as they go over, so it's tough.
So Ben Ridgway will have the serve up by 6, and that serve reception comes right back to a nod as the Hawks are able to recover that one as it plays to the far side over to Vasquez. Send it up for Ridgway to the right side, and he will get the assist as Luke Calder finishes it down, the 6'3 senior, and it's now a 7-point lead for the Broncos at 22-15. Ten-foot line pass there for Patel, but that's going to be a double hit call on the pass. And now, just like that, the Broncos are 2 points away from set 1 victory.
That one was blocked anyway.
The left-handed Ridgway serving. Patel with the set pass again. Ridgway keeps up to Vasquez. And now Calder will flip it on over. Darshan Patel to the right side, and that goes through the hands. It's kind of falling back on that one a little bit. There was Gibson he is not pleased with himself on that one. You think 6'2" senior, he's even telling himself that he knows better than that. Kind of, don't want to call it a lazy play, but he kind of was just standing there a little flat-footed. Will Lawson now will have the serve, the junior. This one goes up to Gibson. That one doesn't fall through this time. As the pass left side for Kohler, he's going to work and somehow finds a hole between Lawson and Anthony Fermain. And now it'll be set point for the Broncos, 24-16. So checking in now, serving perhaps for set one victory will be number 6, Chris Babbage, the 5'9" senior. Trying to win this set by 9 right here. That will not be the case as he serves it into the net, 24-17. As coming back in now will be Butler and Werfel, as that'll send off Darshan Patel and Max Schmidt. And Werfel to serve to try to keep this first set alive for the Hawks.
A last gasp here.
It goes to Vasquez, and it's set up, and off the setup there from Ridgeway, not able to finish was Mark Lyon. So back-to-back points now for the Hawks, giving them some extra life here late. Down by 6, still a big hill to climb nevertheless, but they doing the best to fight back here. Werfel serve to Vasquez, Ridgeway to the left for Gibson, and that's gonna end set number 1. So the Broncos recover after a slow start, get the set 1 victory over the Hawks by the score of 25-18. We'll take a short timeout and get you set for set number 2 in just a moment here on HGTV. About to get set now for set number 2. First set taken by the visiting Broncos, 25-18, in which it was a nice start there, Bruce, for Hoffman Estates. First 5-6 points in the match, and then slowly but surely Barrington was just able to will their way back into it and really counted on some service errors and some great defensive blocks.
Yeah, you gotta wonder if Barrington was expecting an easier match of it. But Hoffman came out hot, got the early lead, just weren't able to sustain it.
So Barrington now be going right to left on your screen for set 2. Hoffman Estates left to right. As we're ready to begin set number 2 here in just a moment. It'll be Barrington serve to get us going. It'll be Chris Babbage to start us off. So our officials signal that we are ready for set number 2. And off we go for it. As a quick serve reception comes right back to the Broncos. Ridgeway to the left for Ricky Gibson to deliver, and the Broncos strike first 1-0.
And that was just a bullet going right over.
And
not much you could do about that.
Notice too that early on in that first set, we didn't really see that connection of Ridgeway to Gibson often early on, and then we kind of towards the end of that first set, we saw that duo of assist to kill attack really affect Hoffman Estates defensively, as this time they go to the right there for Kohler, and it's blocked back. Ridgeway now will set up center court, and then a nice ISO block countered by Simon Georgiev, the junior, to tie us up at 1.
Hoffman needing that.
Anush Patel, junior outside hitter to serve, number 23 in the orange jersey. That goes to Kyle Vasquez. Ridgeway for Gibson again, as we just mentioned, 2-1 Barrington.
And you just notice the difference in velocity of the serves. Barrington's going over in a hurry, and Hoffman slower.
Vasquez to serve.
Vasquez now will serve, and that goes over the back line and floats it out. And it's deuces wild here in set 2, 2-2.
Fermain to serve.
Chris Fermain, the senior, will serve now. His brother Anthony is a junior on this varsity squad. This jump serve just hits off the top of the tape. He gets the lucky bounce, and that'll be an ace for the Hawks to give them their first lead early on in set 2, 3-2. And number 2 serving. Maine to serve as Ridgeway will, almost a misplay there from Matt Harkey, the 6'2" junior, as that's pushed out too far to the right there on the attempt was Butler. And we're tied up at 3.
Nice idea, just a little wide.
So Luke Holder to serve, the 6'3" senior. Luke Holder's had a nice afternoon so far, as that is a low pin ball that is gonna go out of play. Good scramble effort from Hoffman Estates, but nonetheless that'll count for Barrington, and they are back in the lead at 4-3.
That was a nice try, just a little bit wide.
He's off the serve reception, stays to the right side. Holder on the dig, play at the net to the Hawks side, and smacking it over and executing that one along the line nicely was Will Lawson. And we're tied up at 4.
It's nice when you're up in the air and you see some open court.
Darshan Patel now is into the contest. He'll serve. Darshan Patel wearing number 7 in the orange. The standing serve goes over to Gibson, and it's going to come to the left side, and that time it's Ben Ridgeway with the kill. He's not just a setup man, he can execute offensively too. And this lead now will swing back to Barrington, 5-4. And now number 5, Luke Harkey, will check into the match at the net. Team up by 1. Ricky Gibson on the serve. Gibson goes to Chris Romain at the back line. That's going to come right back. Oh, and that's going to be a whistle. They give that to Barrington?
Yes.
I'm going to be honest with you. It looked like, from my vantage point, when Luke Harkey hit it, I thought when he tried to do the dump over, it looked like it stayed on his side, but I must have been perplexed by the net moving a little bit. So point Barrington, 6-4. You saw some of the Hoffman players even look a little confused on it as well, as that pushover falls short from Anthony Fermain. And it's now a 3-point lead for Barrington at 7-4.
Yeah, I was confused by that as well.
Gibson, Chris Fermain tumbling to the floor for that one. As this is going to be an attack that goes long from Max Schmidt, and just like that, it's a 4-point lead for Barrington. Time out, Dan Hutton and the Hawks, as they've all of a sudden faced themselves with a 4-point deficit here early on in set 2.
They were hanging around early, keeping it to a 1-point game, but Barrington's been pulling away.
Both these teams will be back in action in a couple of days respectively. They'll each have tomorrow off. Hoffman Estates will be back here on their home floor on Thursday when they host Palatine. And Barrington will finish off their 2-game road trip that they're on when they go to Schaumburg on Thursday. Both matches are at 6 o'clock if you're wanting to go check those out respectively. And in terms of tournament play, this weekend the Hawks will be in the Warren tournament up north. And the next tournament that the Broncos are going to be in, this will be already their 3rd tournament of the year. They'll be over at Downers Grove South the weekend of February, or I should say, excuse me, April 20th. As they'll be playing on a Thursday and Saturday, as that serve is just over the back line and out. So it'll be a point for Hoffman Estates off the timeout. 8-5, they trail by 3. And speaking of threes, Anthony Fermain to serve. Anthony Fermain with a soft serve. It looked like it may have hit off the bottom of his hand. 9-5 Broncos.
Didn't look like he got all of that one.
As now you got checking in for Barrington, Tommy Marusik, the 5'9" junior.
Marusik in the game for the Broncos.
Marusik wearing the number 10 for Barrington. This Fermain will get off the serve reception. Darshan Patel will go to the left. And off the block and out of play, it'll go to his brother, Anuju Patel. Now Will Lawson will have the serve down by 3.
Harkey in the game for the Broncos. Lawson to serve.
6'9".
As Lawson's serve goes to Gibson. Played off that and recovering nicely at the back end to get it over was Luke Harkey. Right place, right time, 10-6 Broncos.
And the Hawks just standing there going, I thought you had it.
I think they also may have thought the play was about to end based on the miscue Barrington had. So 10-6 as the Patel brothers try to work there, but that's going to be a double hit call on Darshan looking for his brother Anuju. So that'll send back Ben Ridgway to serve up by 5, 11-6. This one high up into the air for Darshan. He'll go to the right side for Schmidt, and that'll work. Off the left arm there of Kyle Vasquez. The deficit cut to 4. So now serving for Hoffman Estates. Coming on in will be Jason Werfel. As Butler checks in at the net as well for Hoffman Estates.
7-11, a very convenient score.
I just picked up on that. It took me an extra 2 seconds, but I figured it out.
Would you like a Slurpee with that?
Still 99 cents, right? Is this one worth more than 99 cents as that kill at the net? Mark Lyon, 12-7.
He's a sophomore.
So Chris Babbage, not a sophomore, a senior serving. That's going to go over and out.
Point Hawk.
So 12-8.
Patel to serve.
And that'll put Anuju Patel back at the service line. The junior outside hitter. And that serve also is short, so we're seeing some short serves come from the Hoffman side of things. To your point, Bruce, you mentioned how if there's going to be service errors from Barrington, they've always been too far over the back line, and with Hoffman, it's been too short.
That's what's the serve.
Yeah, they're hitting them soft. They're just not making it over.
Right on cue.
There's a soft one that goes
right
over.
on cue, just to make my point invalid. As that attack goes long, so we just got the entitled inverse of what I just said right in front of you in about 15 seconds. The old broadcaster's jinx in the full play here. Nevertheless, Barrington up by 6 at 14-8. Vasquez working quickly off the last play as Butler's attack goes over. Babbage for Ridgway, and then eventually pushed over there by Mark Lyon. Countering right back, and the Hawks try to scramble but can't get to it. And it's now a 7-point lead, 15-8 for the Broncos.
Well, better to have a slow serve that lands in play than a 100-mile-an-hour serve that goes long.
Vasquez just over the top of the tape on that one. As it plays to the right side for Butler. Good chicken wing play there from Babbage with the left arm to keep in play. Now for Gibson. And what a setup along the left side. And finishing strongly, Ricky Gibson, 16-8 Barrington. Vasquez, that hits off the fingertips there of Anthony Vermette. He gets it right back to push over. Gibson, Ridgway, and trying to finish that one, but it's kept in play. That was Matt Harkey, brother of Luke. As off the hands of Vasquez and out, but beforehand they're going to say an attack violation at the net on Hoffman. So Barrington will get the point, and it's now a 9-point lead for the Broncos, 17-8. Timeout Hoffman Estates. That's already their second of this set. Things just not going their way for the Hawks here, Bruce, in this second set.
17-8 deficit. Yeah, they're having a hard time of it with this second set.
That's Bruce Anderson. I'm Ryan Fahey with you here on HGTV for MSL West Volleyball action. Be also out on the diamond for some baseball coming up, so check your future programming for that one. We'll be at Schaumburg next Wednesday, weather permitting, as they'll be taking on Conant. If you see anything that says a school at Conant, well, that won't be the case this season, as Conant is getting a brand new field during this school year in the summer. So no home games for Conant officially this year, but they're going to have probably one of the better facilities for baseball in the future school years to come.
Yeah, it's really tough when you play your home games away.
That is what Conan is going to have to go through for this season.
Davey in the game for the Broncos.
We're seeing them next week at Schaumburg for a 4:45 first pitch next Wednesday. Not tomorrow, but the following Wednesday, the 9th. As this one, or I should say the 10th, as that one is going to fall in front for another Bronco point. Double-digit lead, 18-8.
Nice little floater finding the hole.
As this one comes right set back and a block at the net, as it was Harkey and John Davey at the net. Now 19-8 Barrington. They are trying to run away with this and sweep it in 2. As Clark Parker will come on, or I should say, rather James Rowley checking in for the first time today. As that'll send Ridgway off. One of the bench guys getting some time here in the second, set up by 11. As to the right side, Butler gets blocked right back, and the reception of that block is out of play. 20-8 Barrington. And they have just been all gas, no brakes here in set 2, Bruce.
They have. They've just been getting point after point, and Hoffman hasn't had an answer.
Vasquez off the top of the tape. All the bounces going the Broncos' way, too. 21-8.
Not much you can do with that.
It's now a 7-0 run for the Broncos in this set. Vasquez serving for quite a while, as this is going to go out of play along the far post. 22-8, and the Broncos 3 points away from win number 6 on the year.
It was a 1-point game at 5-4, and it's pretty much been all Barrington since.
For Butler, his attack is short. 23-8. Nothing clicking for Hoffman Estates here in this second set.
Now they're trying to pound it across and pounding it right into the net.
Vasquez, the net serve goes long. Well, much needed break there for Hoffman Estates. 23-9, as Lawson's now back in. Chris Remain to serve, as they'll try to grind their way back into this with a big hill to climb. Off the setup from Babbage, trying to finish. On that one was Calder, and he was able to get it over, as it'll go to Butler off the top of the tape. Vasquez with the bump set to the right side for Calder, and it goes out of play, point for the Hawks. 23-10.
Nice volley, nice point. A lot of back and forth on that one.
This for Mame on the serve. As it plays to the right side for Calder, blocked back, gets it over again. As Werfel goes to the right for Butler, and it's out of play, not touched. And it is set match point, Barrington 24-10.
Sometimes you get lucky when you go up for the block and miss.
And serving for the win, just checking in, is Luke Blachek, number 13, Filbert Lee, number 15, in for Barrington at the net. As the Broncos look to end it on this play. Chris Remain for his brother Anthony with the bump over. Vasquez. Now for Blachek, off the block, kept in at the back there by Tyler Kelly, who checked the number 54. As Lawson scoop over, falls short. And that is going to do it. A convincing 2-set victory for the Barrington Broncos here today in Hoffman Estates, as they take it in 2 straight, 25-18 and 25-10. Bruce, your thoughts before we sign off?
Yeah, Hoffman Estates came out looking good at the start, and just they weren't able to maintain it. Barrington was able to step on the gas and just keep the pressure on and pull away.
So for Barrington, they'll go to 6-4. Hoffman Estates will fall to 2-6. Both these teams off tomorrow. Back here Thursday are the Hawks. They'll be hosting Palatine, while Barrington will go to Schaumburg on Thursday to complete their 2-game skid, as they'll return home on Friday to host Libertyville in a non-conference battle. Again, baseball next Wednesday between Conant and Schaumburg. We'll have that action for you on HGTV. For Bruce Anderson, I'm Ryan Fay signing off. This has been Mid-Suburban League West Volleyball action on HGTV. So long, everybody.